If they do that, they're going to be, Cougars will be very, 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 very tough to beat.
That's why Hunter's in right there. Oh, got to shoot a three.
Wilson. Oh, and we are tied.
What a game.
Let's go.
Call the five slammer down.
And I don't ever let them forget where we come from.
Getting those phones out. Record me acting ignorant, man.
Baylor empties it out. Oh, it toss. It's going the other way. Second pick of the night. Jeremiah Wilson finishes this one.
The dream is alive for Houston.
Go Cougs! Let's go!
Andy, you're muted, man. You're so hyped up, you're muted. Welcome to this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian family. I am KG Chris Gardner. With me is Dan Dunlap, and joining us back shortly will be Andy Yanez. I'd like to thank Steve Saxenian and the Saxenian family for sponsoring Let's Rage Coogs. Star Pizza as well. BB Sex Orleans. Let's get into it. Dan, man, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Surviving advance, man.
That's it. Cougs won 81-76. Only made one basket in the last 4:30 after Juwan Roberts hook. They held on to get it, as you said, survive and advance. That's all that matters. It's a 5-point win. Don't care if it's 1 point, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a win. But let's get into it. Let me say this. Gonzaga, kudos to Mark Few. He's a hell of a coach. Made a great adjustment defensively down the stretch. Just your thoughts overall on the game. We'll get into it momentarily when everybody else joins us on the show.
Well, I mean, we got to start with the El Captain, LJ. I mean, he got off to a great start in that first half, made some clutch buckets down the stretch. But the start that he got off to the first half, I think, really helped us settle into the game. And he just had it going, was just getting good looks and even hunting his shot. And really, Milos was key. He had a really, really big game. Although, like I've always said, it isn't his point total what I look to. Now teams have to have the threat of him when he goes in. They know he's capable of making that floater. Now he's looking to attack versus getting in and passing it. So with the threat of him getting into the paint, opening it up for LJ, I think we just really got to a good start. And defensively, we was tough. Rebounding, we was tough. But I mean, LJ getting off us to that really good start was really big. It was really big.
And Andy's back with us now, but you guys are coaches now. Your thoughts on the Zags 1-3-1 pressure that disrupted the Cougs' offensive flow?
Great coaching. I mean, that's great coaching. You needed desperate to get back into the game, and at that point, you try anything. And you look on a scouting report of late, Houston has had trouble handling some pressure. So that's one of the things. It's you can't run it all game because of the threat of shooting open up the floor. But for them to get into that, I think that's just a great coaching adjustment, trying some, and credit to his team to be able to execute to kind of mug it up and force Houston into some of those turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Dan 100%. They were desperate at that point. They were down around 10 points with just over 2 minutes left. You have to change it up, see what sticks. And Houston had no answers for that in those final 2 minutes. I give credit to the Bulldogs because they were able to get back in the game. And they just, I don't know if they seemed hesitant. They were trying to milk the clock or just weren't being aggressive enough. There was a couple of turnovers that were just sloppy turnovers when it was the over and back by Emmanuel Sharp that ticked off Kelvin Sampson. Milos Uzan had a couple of uncharacteristic plays, even on the skip pass that he tried to Malik Wilson like that. Houston is fortunate that didn't end up being a turnover because that wasn't the best decision by Milos. And I mean, give credit to Gonzaga, like Dan said, that was able to really throw a wrench into really the solid offensive performance that Houston had for about 38 minutes of that game. and Gonzaga almost pulled off an upset just based off that in the final 2 minutes.
And I see the comments, and brought to you by the Ignacio Pinto Law Firm. We'll get to them momentarily. A lot of comments so far. Thank you for everyone chiming on YouTube. Pressure defense works against almost everybody because you don't see it all the time. Look at it in a tournament. Look at it sometimes in NBA. It disrupts offensive. It throws people off their rhythm. That's what happened late in the game for the Cougs. Gonzaga defensively, man to man, in the half court, did not stop the Cougars. So as Dayon said, they were desperate. Coach Few had one more trick in his bag. Let's try the 1-3-1 and mucked it up, junked it up. It worked. I think BYU had a big lead on Wisconsin. They held on to win. Folks, that's what the tournament is about. These teams are trying to do whatever it takes to advance. Emmanuel Sharp made a mistake. It happens. Folks, we're acting like these guys are perfect. And they're not going to make mistakes and all those different things. But bringing in Fluff now. Fluff, your thoughts on the Cougs not handling Gonzaga's 1-3-1 press down the stretch?
I think we panicked a little bit. A little bit. And, I'm soft for the Cougs. So especially when we figure it out like we did, is that moving on, I think that, maybe it'll give another team an inclination to try that against us, to try that 1-3-1 against us. But it also gives us some things to go back to the drawing board in case we face that again. And I'm sure Coach Sampson will, make sure the guys are not stunned like it seemed like they were when that decision was made to play us and play that defense against us.
And this is a different type of pressure. This 1-3-1 started in the half court. The previous games earlier in the season, teams with full court pressure. So that was different for the Cougs. They worked on the full court pressure. This 1-3-1 was in the half court. That's different.
Yeah. And Milo's did a point guard seeing. He did a point guard seeing. You never get cast half court and pull, pick your dribble up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's number one. You know that. You never do that. And he did that in the key moment. Luckily, the ball went out of bounds off of the Gonzaga. But that's something I'm sure they're gonna go to the film room and know, Milos, you cannot do that. And that's something you cannot do. But that is they did do it in the half court. It was looking the trap. But Coach Sampson did make a good adjustment. He put Emmanuel in the corner. He got a good look in the corner, wide open. He just missed it. And so I really think just that Kansas game, the way we came back, I think it really is preparing us for these type of moments. It's because although we kind of rushed a little bit, it made some turnovers, we still never fully panicked. And I think that let us know, like, the game ain't over till the clock hits 0. And so we really stay focused and locked in.
And, and Fluff said it. Dayon touches on it. These guys made uncharacteristic mistakes down the stretch. Okay, the pressure got to them a little bit. I'm not just talking about the pressure of the 1-3-1. The pressure of the moment got to them. It's easy for us to sit here, well, not really, if you diehard Coug fans getting a heart attack and stuff, but wondering why are they struggling so hard. Folks, these are not machines. I'm not cutting them any slack. They have to do better, as LJ said after the game to AJ.
Dirty ball. I hate to cut you off though, but like I said in the beginning of the year, Cryer gonna have to step up and be that guy when it's time to be that guy.
And he
so
did
just
tonight.
To take before you finish, I'm sorry, Chris. I got it. It was on my mind fresh. When you get 40, you get a little older and you start forgetting things. You know what I mean? So I had to say it while it was fresh on my mind. Cryer came with that 30 ball today, and that's great news. No matter what happened. Yes.
I mean, for up until the 1-3-1 pressure defense, both teams' second half shooting was lights out.
Yeah.
They both had it rolling. Gonzaga shot 61% in the second half. The Cougs were rolling, would shoot above 50% until the last 5 minutes when they missed 7 of 8. And Gonzaga still lost. Gonzaga shot 45% from 3. 100% from the free throw line, and they still lost. The Cougs still found a way to win. I understand we're going to hop on to how the game ended and how they did not handle the pressure defense to 1-3-1. But Fluff, Dayon, Andy, everybody who's a Coug fan in here, survive and advance. And did you expect Gonzaga to just roll over when they were down double digits and say, well, the game's over?
Hell no.
Come on.
Well, what we have to remember is, they're a historic. They're not the University of Houston, but they're a historic university also, and they're prideful
Mm-hmm.
about what they have built in their time of their own dominance too. So Gonzaga was not going to lay down to us. Sometimes in moments like that, and teams make those type of runs, sometimes we make it a bigger deal of what the next game will be. Not saying that we shouldn't have handled that moment better or those moments better, but it's not really a story or what's going to happen the next game. You know what I mean? So, shouts to Gonzaga, great university, great program, great coach. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have to, this were us trusting Kelvin Sampson and the staff to have us even more ready for the next game. Also, I want to say this that people cannot sleep on is we have Q on the sideline. We have Hollis Price on the sideline. We have Kellen who played for his dad. We have Courtney Goldwire that is a cool. We got guards that's gonna when we get to practice tomorrow or when we go over film tonight or tomorrow morning, those guys who are amazing guards in college are gonna have those conversations and we're gonna go through some things that we'll never see on camera and have us prepared for if we face that situation. Because sometimes, we go to practice, Andy coaches, Dayon coaches, I coach. Sometimes we go to practice and we go over things for the team. But those guys that I named, those guys are going to show the perimeter players the tricks and the trades in case we see that again at an immaculate level. That's going to be huge for us moving forward. And if you look at the rosters and look at some of the staffs that are around the country, we have some great guards that are on our staff that can help us in any way, shape, or form. I think that's why you see Ooze have, turn it up as the season go. Those guys was in his ear. Cryers turning it up. You know what I mean? Sharp. You know what I mean? So it's like Malik is Malik. You know what I mean? Double by Tugler was big. And I think that our perimeter coaches, not perimeter coach, but our former perimeter players that are on staff is going to have us super ready for any situation that comes our way coming up moving forward.
But the game changed on JoJo's flagrant foul.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
It was a 14-point game.
They went on quick
Yeah.
5-point run after that. He made those 2 free throws. They came down and made a 3, cut it down to 9. Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
That was a huge moment to play. But also, we got to give Jaywan credit. It was an emphasis to get the ball to him in that second half, and he came up clutch. 18 shots. That's a lot from him.
I like it.
We shot 50%. 50%.
10 points and he scored 8 points in the first 4 minutes to start the second half. Like he was locked in. I don't know what Kelvin Sampson told him or what they saw at halftime, but he was locked in. He was a completely different player coming out of the halftime locker room.
And he provided that balance.
Yeah, Ron's commented he didn't think it was a flagrant one. By letter of the law,
it was
unnecessary. It was.
Yep.
Didn't Coogs have the ball in transition?
Yeah. Yep. It was Houston ball. They were
okay. So it was unnecessary.
7-point swing. So potentially have a chance to go 16.
It's like this. That momentum could go any way sometime. It just went the other way. You know what I mean? Those moments are tricky to come. It was unnecessary, but those moments when you're in the heat of the moment, everybody trying to win, it's just from experience, it's hard to call how you react sometime. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but,
of course, but that was
not saying we needed it. Not saying
the momentum shifted right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm sure he felt bad about it. And as Deion pointed out, the Zags scored 5 in a row after that. Coach lit into JoJo's butt for the foul because it was unnecessary and momentum shifted. And and then later on when the Zags went to that 1-3-1 in the half court,
they had it in their pocket too.
They couldn't stop Coogs any other way.
Pocket.
Because without it, throwing the ball to Juan down on the block, he was going to work. LJ was going to work. I mean, yes, we'll see if Purdue has the personnel to do the same kind of 1-3-1 attack, in the half court. But I agree with Fluff. The staff is going to work on it, look at it on film, decide how we're going to attack it and beat it. We're going to beat it off the dribble, attack through it. They will come up with different things. Again, the 1-3-1 in the half court is different than a full court pressure defense that gave
We'll
the
talk
Cougars
over here
problems
how we gonna break that.
earlier this season. But I mean, you see how when the Cougars go to traps and half court pressures, it impacts other teams. Okay, it's not like this. It's only the Cougs' problem. Do they need to work on it and correct how they're going to attack it and attack it, not fall back and take the foot off the gas? They need to be aggressive, stay aggressive. I texted one of my best friends that they needed to probably score more than 80. He said 85. If it weren't for the free throws, they might have got the last two. They'd have won with 79. So they were not attacking and aggressive. They'll correct that. And what's complicated, Gonzaga is better than Purdue. So the Cougs won, survive, and advance. That's all that matters, folks. But Graham, EK, Big Guy had it going on, man.
You guys might disagree on this. Dayon, Andy, Chris, you tell me your opinion. Now, one thing I will say, double from Nembhard tonight. Battle 17-6. You know what I mean? They played. But what I will say is we have to figure out what we're gonna do on the ball screen with this kid from Purdue. Purdue.
That point guard.
This kid from Purdue. He might be better than what's his name again?
I think it's Smith, Brady Smith, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, Brady Smith. Yeah, he's an all-conference player. He's all-American.
Better than Nembhard tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Who you guys taking? You taking Smith or you taking Nembhard?
I'm taking Smith.
I'm taking Smith. So what I'm saying is we need to figure out what we're gonna do with him early. How we gonna defend him? Maybe are we gonna trap the ball screen? Are we going under? Are we icing it, sending it to the baseline? We talked about that a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
Is we need to really lock in into how we're gonna guard Brandon Smith, right? I got that right?
Braden Smith.
Braden Smith. We need to really lock in. And he's feisty. So he's one of those guards where he's, I've seen him turn red a couple of times. He thinks he's the guy. So we need to, we need to come with it early, and I think we will.
Real quickly,
we gotta be physical with him. Go ahead, Andy.
No, I wanted to get to some of the comments here, and this is something that I think definitely we got to give a shout out to Malik Wilson for the effort he's done. And we have Justin Singleton via the Pinto Leon Law Firm comment section. The Pinto Leon Law Firm, the immigration experts, contact them at pintoleon.com or at 713-338-2879. Malik Wilson came up clutch in that final minute with every time he's guys in for a rebound.
Bro. He's the man.
Yeah,
he's the man.
He goes up there and he gets those big time boards. He saved Houston, bought him multiple second chance possessions, hit a clutch free throw, did miss one, but he hit the clutch free throw. And just every time he's on the floor, he's going to make some type of play that impacts winning. And he did it again against Gonzaga late down the stretch when Houston was struggling and we're trying to hang on.
Yeah, man, he's tough. He's a dog, man. I'm talking about the steals, rebounding, whatever we need. He's ranking his toolbox, and he going to work with his hard hat. I mean, he for sure a dog. We definitely got to give him his flowers because I love why they keep him in the straight, and that's just great substitution by Coach Sam. I mean, it was in and out with Emmanuel some of the times to put in four guards to spread the floor, for extra press break. But man, Malik is a dog, man. We've been saying they've been giving his flowers, and I seen it way early in the season. I forgot which game, might have been that Auburn or Alabama game where he came in, but everybody was playing timid. He like, give me the rock, I'll go get it. And Malik is one of them. One, he a dog for sure, man. He the moment he recognizes how big this moment is, his last run, and you can tell he won it. He's not letting no moment getting past him without him giving 1,000%, trying to do whatever is needed for us to win.
I have never, since I've been watching this kid, well, not since I've been watching him, I'll go with this season. I have not seen him not get the 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
Like, If it's a 50-50 ball, Malik Wilson is getting the basketball.
It's 80-20. He get
Yeah.
80%
I
his.
mean, I'm not saying I'm not going with
No, I'm with you.
never. I'm not going with never, but man, 8.6, 86% of
He
the
going to
time,
get it.
he getting that basketball. And that's huge. I
That's
actually got to talk
great.
with my
That's
team
huge.
about that today. Like, got to give more 50-50 basketballs. That's huge in winning games. And these big games like the tournament tournament is right now.
I mean, even in that skip pass, he went up for the ball and just challenging it,
Yeah.
and potentially saved Houston by keeping them with the possession when it looked like Gonzaga was gonna have another steal off of that half court trap.
Yeah, the moment definitely isn't too big for him. It definitely isn't too big for him.
And Coug fans, alumni, we won. We move on to the next game. It doesn't matter how we won. It doesn't matter. I mean, we move on. We go to the next game. We win this one. We go to Big 8. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I want us to kind of keep that mindset as we're, of course, tweaking some things to get ready for the next one.
And what's huge for Houston now, they get the extra added days off. They're coming back to Houston. They'll have to get the chance to practice inside of the Ivy Lewis, and most definitely you better bet that they're gonna work on being able to press some or break similar type of presses, half court traps in the meantime. So survive and advance is what it's all about. Now they got to turn all their attention, focus to Purdue. In a second, I'm trying to put together the post game video press conference, so we'll have that in a few minutes, hopefully. But I'd like to take the moment to thank every single person that's taking the time out of their Saturday night to join us on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian family. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian for being the primary sponsor of this edition of LRC. We also like to say thank you to tonight's secondary sponsors, beginning with Star Pizza, with 3 locations throughout the Houston area. Star Pizza is your go-to stop before or after the game. Check them out online at starpizza.net or on social media at Star Pizza HOU on X or Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram. Big shout out to BB's, the home of Tex Ordnance Cooking, who reminds you that it's crawfish season and they want you to stop by any one of their Houston area locations for their 5-pound mound. Visit them online at bbstexordnance.com. And last but not least, also a big thank you to tonight's comment section sponsor, which is a Pinto Leon law firm, the immigration experts. Contact them at pintoleon.com or at 713-338-2879.
In all these questions, post game, comments, the Cougs will have a game plan for Purdue. The game is in Indianapolis. Good for Purdue. They'll have fans there. So what? Another obstacle in the way to get 4 more wins for the Cougs. Gonzaga played great, shot lights out in the second half, made adjustments in those final 3 minutes, and they still lost. Okay. Can the Cougs play better? Can the Cougs handle the half-court pressure defense from an opponent better? Yes. Will they work on it starting tomorrow? Yes. But for a lot of the second half, the Cougs are winning this game with their offense because Gonzaga was shooting lights out and was still behind by double digits. And then the flagrant 1 foul was called on JoJo. Momentum began to shift. Then the Zags went to the 1-3-1 down the stretch. Next game is Friday against Purdue, Jack 42. Next game is Friday in Indianapolis in the round of 16. Salute to Texas Tech and BYU. Also, Big 12 team. Big 12. So far, the only Big 12 team that has lost, Fluff, is who?
Kansas.
That's right. Imagine that. But yes, the Houston Cougars, BYU Cougars, and Texas Tech.
Dang, we took the Big 12 from Kansas, kind of, but we'll talk about that later.
No, we definitely did.
Like I say, like we say, we run this conference right now. So yeah. But Andy's working on post game. It was posted on the NCAA website a few minutes ago to try to get some of that footage. And interesting to hear what Coach Sampson says during the post game. Go ahead, Dan. What are you going to say?
Yeah, one of the things I want to touch on that I noticed was different early in that first half that I think Gonzaga probably worked on a lot was expecting a double team on the post. We played them primarily one-on-one in the post, which I'm sure they was prepping a lot for the monster trap, and we let them play one-on-one in the post, which probably made them switch to whatever they worked on a lot. So that was big. And another thing that Steve Smith said that with us having a veteran group, we're able to switch our coverages and switch different philosophies, go to different things in the half court that can keep teams off balance. And we always take away their first option. Although Gonzaga was shooting the ball really good in that first half, but defensively, we was really switching it up and playing different coverages and not allowing teams to get comfortable. And I think that's really big for us.
Agreed. And I saw someone comment that Gonzaga was not an 8 seed. They should have been a better seed. Well, I mean,
they were 8. They were 8th in the net. So, but that's the
that's,
draw. Can only play
that's the draw. And I mean, there were people who picked Gonzaga to extend their trip to the Sweet 16, make it 10 in a row. Before the game started, some folks picked the Gonzaga to beat Houston on Sunday. Cougs won. They're in the Sweet 16. That's what matters. Did the Cougs have some issues against the press? Yes. The half-court press. Will they attack it differently if Purdue brings it out Friday? I'm sure they will. But I said it, Dayon said it, Fluff said it, Andy said it. It does not matter. If it's by 1 point, it will be held on our hearts. But as long as the Cougs win, that is what we have to understand and focus on. Just get the W. Because they won by 8. I mean, the spread was 5 yesterday.
Well, it was 4.5. It was 4.5 earlier this morning. So
I saw between 4.5 to 5.5. Vegas knows, man. Vegas knows. That is something else, man. Vegas knows. But it's a win. Go ahead. Got post-game comments from the Cougs.
Yes, sir. Let's see what they had to say.
To Mark in Gonzaga's program. They're a tremendous role model for everybody. The consistency that they've had. That's why winning the game is significant. It's not just winning the game, it's beating a great program like Gonzaga. That was a high level 1-8 game because they were not an 8 seed. That was a game that would have been awesome in the Elite 8 or Final 4. Gonzaga is really good. EK, Huff, Nemhart, battle. The way they just kept battling. We made some bonehead plays. We're up 14 and Tugler made an unnecessary play. I wish I had not called that, but they almost have to because of the rules. They have to enforce the rules. I mean, that's why they're there. But hopefully the young man that did that, it's just unnecessary. It had no bearing on the play or the game, nothing. It was a nothing play. But what he did, he gave the referees no choice. And I told him that. But, we had a big enough lead. We made a couple boneheaded plays down the stretch, but I'm not going to sit here and go through that this time of year. It's about advancing. Proud of our guys. Cryer and Roberts played the way they played all year. I mean, they're both first team All Big 12 players. Cryer's an All-American, and one's the winningest player in the history of University of Houston basketball. So very blessed that I get to coach these two young men and survive in advance, right?
Thank you. Questions? Start on the right-hand side, gentlemen.
Cole Forsman from Gonzaga on SI. Coach, you talked a little bit about the relationship you had with Few going back to the Wazoo days. He's now a finalist for the Hall of Fame. Did you see that in him all those years ago, and just how remarkable of a story is his career?
Yeah, it is a great story, isn't it? No, I didn't see that all those years ago. I didn't even know what the Hall of Fame was all those years ago. You got to remember, I was the head coach when I was 31. I mean, who hires a 31-year-old, right? I'm just think of all the people that had to turn the job down to get to me. But Mark is a, Dan Monson. I coached a USA team. I think we went to Halifax, Nova Scotia. I remember Chris Paul was our point guard, but Dan Monson was my assistant. And that's when I got really close with him. I always knew him through his dad, but really just fell in love with Dan on that trip. And Mark hasn't changed. He's still the same humble guy that we all started together on the Palouse. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I started on the southwest mountains of Montana and the southeastern Washington, 7 miles from Idaho's campus. I'm proud that I came from that, and I'm proud that Mark and I have grown. Just like Karen and I, Marcy and Mark. Our wives have meant so much to us. There's no chance we're where we are without our wives. And Mark would be the first to tell you that.
Question on the aisle. Thanks.
Grant Salzman, Columbia, Missouri. And Coach, what made them so hard to really pull away from and put away tonight? And then also, what did you say to Khalif Battle at the end of the game in the handshake line? To Battle in the handshake line?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, they didn't miss any free throws. They were 15 for 15. It's a pretty good recipe. And they're good. This KenPom analytics are pretty spot on. That's the 8th or 9th best team in the country. They should have never been seated where they were seated. I get the analytical component, but I also think the eye test should come into play too. You look at that team. I mean, we just came from the Big 12. And we're in a league with Kansas, Iowa State, Arizona, all those schools. Gonzaga's as good as anybody we've played all year, personnel-wise too. Ike and Huff, Nemhart. I mean, that's a really good team. Had they been seated somewhere else, that's a team probably has a chance to get to the Elite Eight, maybe even Final Four. They're that good. So why we couldn't pull away is, number one, let's give them credit. They kept playing. We made a couple of turnovers that we can't make down the stretch. Missed some free throws you can't miss. We're missing free throws and they're making free throws. That's a pretty good recipe for a lead shrinking. But I was proud of our guys for finding a way. I think in the last 5 or 6 years, we played Ohio State, Rutgers. Who else we played one in this game? Texas A&M, Oregon, no, Rutgers, Syracuse. We played a bunch. It seemed like we're always playing a really good team in this round of 32. But like I said, Gonzaga. I mean, Gonzaga's. The respect I have from them is a little bit different because I grew up with them a little bit, and I know how good they are, and I know how much respect Mark and his staff. Tommy Lloyd is in our league now. What Tommy's doing and will do at Arizona is going to be unbelievable. But to beat the best says a lot about your program. So proud of my kids. Proud that we found a way to win a tough game, and that's what this tournament's about this time of year. Not sit around and analyze it or spend 10 minutes on how we lost the lead no, just win in advance. That's all that matters.
We have 5 minutes to go. We've got a question here. We've got a Zoom call to make. Go ahead, please.
Awesome. Yeah. This is a question for Juwan. Juwan, you and Graham really had a big battle tonight down low. Can you comment on him as a player and what you can do offensively against him? He had 27, you had 18. It was a great matchup in the front court. Just comment on that.
I mean, going into the game, we know they wasn't going to help off our shooters, which is LJ Manuel. So I think playing through the short roll, and shooting that shot that I rep every day, I just try to continue to shoot that shot. And, EK is pretty good. He can score in both blocks. So it was a good matchup. He was hard to guard, but, I feel like at the end of the day, we kind of still did the job, though. You just find a way to win, like Coach said.
All right, let's go to the Zoom call. Jameson?
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, to look at the level of success that this program's had over the years, knowing that the collegiate model has changed with NIL and the transfer portal, just what you could say to sustaining success and the next man up approach year in and year out for Houston, continuing to go deep into this tournament.
Yeah, I think it starts with our staff. Our staff has been together, and the way we run our program. I like the fact that we run our program independent of anything else. We make all our decisions in-house, and that's why we're winning. That's important. A basketball coach has got to know how to run his program, and he's got to have the leeway to make the decisions, especially if you're winning. And I work at a university that allows me to make my own decisions for this program. But Kellen Quanis, who's just had a press, he'll become the new head coach at University of Louisiana, and he'll kill it, by the way. I'm really proud of him and the opportunity he has. But our staff, what our staff does with our player development, we don't really live in the portal. I believe in it, though. This year we only took one portal kid, and that was Milos. Everybody else returned. Year before that, we took two, LJ and Damian. So we've always believed in recruiting high school kids and developing them, and that's how we've had a great culture. I think two of the great cultures in our country is Gonzaga and Houston, and I think that's one of the reasons why they've been to the Sweet 16. What is it? 9 in a row, right? Who does that? I mean, who does that? Please don't take them for granted. They're just awesome. I mean, I have so much respect for them, and this is number 6 for us, and I hope people don't take this for granted either. The staffs and the program, the players at those schools have to be high character kids that care more about winning than statistics. And you asked me about Khalif Battle. We played against him when he was at Temple. And first of all, I admire the young man for choosing to go to Gonzaga, because that tells me winning's important. A lot of guys are in this portal, jump in the portal because they're not getting enough shots, not getting enough touches. They don't care about winning. When Battle chose to go to play for Mark and his staff, it showed some maturity, because it's not easy to go somewhere where you're going to get coached the right way. And he'll benefit from this. Those tears that he was at the end of the game told me how much he cared and how much this mattered to him. It's always a little sad because we were there last year when we lost to Duke. But proud of our guys, and Gonzaga's not going anywhere. They'll be back.
Anything else for the Cougars? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Best of luck in the Sweet 16.
Not even a question for LJ. Man, come on, man.
He finished with a 30 ball.
Jawan Roberts pointed it out.
Man scored 30. Didn't ask him a question.
And he finished with a 30 ball, and you don't got a question for him. That's why we got to be there. Hey, you on mute, Fluff?
Yeah, Fluff, you on mute.
You on mute. That's
There we
why.
go.
That's why we need to be there, dog. Cause man, come on, bro.
That's why I'm asking Jawan. That's why I mess with Jawan.
Someone pointed at him.
He like, y'all didn't see he had 30. Yo, whoever's
Right,
doing the media
right.
out there, listen, when a guy gets 30, you ask him about at least 3 to 4 things about the 30. Okay?
Well, hopefully the Houston media that is there
They're probably in the locker room.
talk to him, gets a chance to talk to LG in the locker room, and we'll hear from him based on locker room comments. But because NCAA, the media room, especially post game, most of the team reporters are in the locker room. They're not with the national group. Now, if you have a staff, like if all 4 of us were able to go, we probably have 2 in the locker room, 2 in the main workroom, and split up the work. But if you only got 1 of you, you got to go where the locker room is and just get the footage from the work media room from the NCAA. Just hope somebody asks the question that you wanted to ask. But that's part of it as well. But that's one of the things that we aim and strive for next year and years to come, is be able to travel with the team and get that underwriter and some. We'll talk about our plans for next year, next tournament. But 2 down, 4 to go. Coach touched on it. There were some bonehead plays down the stretch. He said it. Our viewers, LRC family, have commented on it. The Cougs will work on those things and try to not repeat those issues if Purdue goes to a 1-3-1 half-court press or some other half-court press this Friday. It's all about getting a win, Fluff. That's survive and advance. That's what it is.
For me, I love what he said about Gonzaga. I actually had a conversation. I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but I had a conversation a little while ago with one of my best friends. His name is Ryan Gomes.
I know Ryan. Well, I don't know him, but I know him from from basketball. Yeah.
He played in the NBA for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He actually kind of showed me how to do what I did at Houston. Because I went to Providence first, and that was my roomie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny that we just had a conversation about Gonzaga being a sleeper school, meaning that I seen Coach Sampson touch on that, and Gonzaga is definitely a spot. Also, of course, University of Houston is number 1, but it's also a spot where kids who are desiring to be coached and, be in a good situation to become a pro, that's a school that is not talked about enough. And that piggybacks on, us being in a tough dogfight with them tonight. Let's not, like Coach Sanders said, let's not take for granted us advancing from beating this very good team in the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
And that was a
Agreed.
great comment on Khalif Battle too, because I'm sure he could have went to a spot where he could have got up more shots and been even more the man. But that was spot on. Winning does mean something to him, because you do go to Gonzaga knowing that you're gonna compete and get in the tournament.
I'm glad he did that, because talking to some of the Temple beat writers when he was at Temple, he's grown up since then, because he didn't have that mentality back when he was at Temple. So I'm glad he has matured and realized he needs to be coached up and wants to win. Back at Temple, he was kind of the opposite of that. So I'm glad to see him mature, and he played well tonight. And that's the hurtful part of the madness of the tournament. You bust your behind, you give it everything you have, and you might not get the dub, and that's it. Your season is over right there. So you see the emotion in these players, and it hurts. Losing stinks. Fluff knows that. Losing stinks. So when people and fans talk about this and forget these athletes are human and you cost me money and all this other kind of trash and all that, there's a winner and a loser. The Cougs won tonight. Survive and advance. That's what matters. Salute to Gonzaga and their great program. They competed. They gave it everything they had.
Class
Wasn't
act.
enough tonight. Houston moves on to face Purdue on Friday.
Shout out to the Texas Football Channel. Shout out to Dr. Roberts, Cryer, Uzan, and company while surviving advance. Big thank you to the Texas Football Channel for the super sticker, courtesy of the Pinto Leon Law Firm. Comment section. The thing that stood out to me about that press conference had nothing to do with the answers. I'm surprised, Chris, that they still do Zoom for some reporters. I didn't know they still did that.
We need to look into that. I mean, because I was surprised, and I saw it, I think, on the women's side too. Well, I'm not gonna say the school, but it is a Texas school, and they mentioned about a Zoom link, and I was like, there's a Zoom way for us to participate in postgame? Oh, okay. Well, we probably couldn't do it and still do postgame immediately after, 10 minutes after the show, but it is an option apparently for us to do it if we want to.
Definitely something to look into. I think just looking forward to Purdue getting back to how we probably guard Braden Smith. He's very ball dominant, a much better shooter in my opinion than Nembhard. I think Nembhard probably is a little bit of playmaker, but he has that moxie about him.
Yeah,
Like
he going at
got
Ooze
that.
and them guys.
Yeah, he going at him. But one thing that he's kind of reckless with the ball, 8 turnovers today.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
If he throw that ball around, if he throw that ball over the gym against us, we'd be up 16-2 fast.
That's why I think the way we'll be able to pressure him and getting them past the lanes and force him to play faster than he wants, we can make it tough for him. But we cannot play that drop coverage. We really don't play drop coverage on pick and roll anyway. And so I like the way we'll be able to guard him, and we're going to make him defend because he's not someone that's a really good defender. So I think that's another way to be able to kind of make him work hard on the defensive end, is be able to force him to defend on the other end as well. And so I'm looking forward to it. But their post player is really good as well. His name skips me right now.
Drake Kaufman-Renn, Yep.
Yeah, I want to see how we'll be able to defend him. I'm sure Jay want to probably take on that matchup, or JoJo. And so I'm looking forward to the matchup. I actually worked with a Purdue alum. I know she's gonna be ready. I'm gonna be talking my trash all week.
And you're gonna be talking trash on Saturday too after the game, after the Cougs win. So,
oh yeah,
or Friday night afterwards. You reach out to it at that point too. But
shout out Houston Cougars, Germany. He says great win with a great coach versus a great team in Gonzaga via the Pinto Leon Law Firm comment section. Shoot, Fluff. Now I had a comment I was gonna say and it's skipping my mind right now. Maybe I'm getting too old.
Yeah, you're not 40. You're not 53. Come on, come on, young fella. Come on, man.
Come on, young whippersnapper. What you doing?
Shoot, it'll come back.
It'll come back.
No. Okay, I remember.
Right.
I remember now. There we go. No, I was gonna ask you guys on how you guys felt about the performance of Milos Uzan in this game against Gonzaga. 7 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. Did have 3 turnovers in this game against the Bulldogs, and a couple of bad turnovers late down the stretch when Gonzaga made their rally. Where, there was one in particular where he just handled the ball and he just got straight up ripped from the ball.
He stopped being aggressive. He stopped attacking, and he'll learn from it. He has to learn from it, and it's just one of those things. Fluff knows you just can't.
Yeah.
You got to stay aggressive. Stay to who you are. Be true to who you are.
You can't be. I think tonight what he was doing too. You can't be hesitant and indecisive. When you're indecisive, that's where the mistakes come from the guard position. You know what I'm saying? The one shouts to Tommy Penders. One thing Coach Penders used to always tell us as guards is this, and it wasn't always a good thing, but I'd rather a shot up than a shot not attempted.
Yep.
So, our guards, if we could understand that, meaning like not saying throw up anything, but let's make plays to get attempts. You know what I mean? And sometimes when we're bouncing and we're probing instead of going north, south, we're going east, west. Things get to go south sometimes with the basketball as far as taking care of the basketball. So,
and Lowe's did have 3 turnovers. Nembhard had 5. Okay, so and Nembhard had 10 or 11 assists. So both point guards had turnover issues for their teams.
11 assists Nembhard had.
So that's still a little under his assist to turnover ratio, which is coming into this game was like almost 4-1, which is amazing. And the man averages 10 assists a game in college. That's just absurd. But that's also a credit to his teammates for being good shooters. He gives the ball to them in the right spots, and then they knock it down. But I want to say this. I noticed that I think the stat crew is kind of generous because they gave Juan Roberts an assist on a pass he gave to Malik. Malik dribbled 4 times on a drive to the hoop and got an assist. Roberts got an assist on that. That's not an assist. Stat crew for me, 2 pass, 2 dribbles. That's it. Below the 2, that's not an assist.
That's more. We see that a lot in the NBA. Whether 2 dribbles or not, if your pass sets up a straight line drive, then it's an assist. I get what you're saying, Chris. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I just kind of see the other side. It's like if I break down the defense and I pass you the ball and you got to take 4 dribbles, but my pass set up your 4 dribbles for a wide open layup, then that's my assist kind of deal.
Yeah, that's my pro mindset talking because 4 dribbles. I was like, because I saw that on stat. I was like, what?
So we see that a lot in the pros, though. They do that a lot in the pros.
So it's almost like it was some home cooking for the Cougs, but whatever. We're picking at nits here and there after this win. Hard-fought win. 81-76. Cougs beat Gonzaga. Yes, you could argue the Zags were better than being 8 seed. Houston still beat them. So on to Purdue. Next.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Milos, like in that first half, primarily, like I said, kind of when we start the show, I like the way he played for the most part. But definitely in that second half, he was indecisive and not being aggressive when attacking at 1-3-1. Like I said, when he picked up his ball at half court, he didn't have his mind up. He wasn't looking to attack. But for the most part, he was attacking. And that's able to get LJ in certain spots when he's able to catch and shoot. Like one of LJ's threes of Milos was aggressive and made a perfect pass to the wing. He was able to catch and shoot. So I like Milos getting downhill. And now with the threat of how he's been playing over the last two months, now they gotta respect his flow. They gotta come up and help. And so as long as he's aggressive, looking to drive, getting into that paint, it can open up the floor for LJ and Emmanuel.
Justin, bringing up, let me see. I don't know if he can, because anything with the NCAA rules now, and to put it on the screen so folks don't think I'm losing my mind about PJ Haggard. PJ started at TCU, went to Tulsa, now he's at Memphis. I don't know if he can go to a 4th school, and he's not a Simpson player. Okay, now if he wants to be coach hard, which I don't, there's some question about that, but I'm not sure you can go 4 schools in 4 years or whatever. Now, Penny gets fired, that could change things, but I don't think Penny's gonna get fired. But
4 schools in 4 years. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean that's something right there. You need to look at it. He's a hell of a player. He's All-American, but let's just say, and I'm going to say it in a general way. Coach Sampson sometimes says he'd rather coach against that kid like that rather than coach a kid like that. So I'm just putting it out there,
He's not a position need for us. We don't need his position.
Not at all. He's not a point guard.
He's a scoring guard. He ain't a point. He can be ball. He can play the point, but he's not a position of need for us. Even he's not a position of need for us.
And Michael Jones, I see your comment. I posted there were 9 fouls called in the first half. 4 or 5, split evenly. There were 12 fouls called in the first 12 minutes second half. So the refs made some adjustments. They called more fouls. They called the game a little tighter. That's not consistent. That's not what I like to see. But that's what they did. Cougs still won.
And they
Cougs
really
still took more free throw attempts. They had more free throws than the Zags. Zags just weren't perfect. They were perfect, 15 for 15, and Houston missed 5 of their free throw attempts, something like that. But it's a win. We're talking about a win, and on to the Sweet 16 for the sixth straight year.
The referees too. They started calling a lot more fouls after the flagrant from JoJo Tugler. That's when it seemed like they really picked up their whistles after that.
Well, Ike and Tugler, they were talking about trash back and forth. And so, that may have been a reason why JoJo lost his head there for a moment, because Ike was talking to him and he retaliated and he got caught. And that did kind of shift the momentum towards the Zags. He's got to learn from it. And he had a double-double in 20 minutes. But that foul changed the momentum of the game. He got to be better. This is a nice stat from Crabtree about Purdue. Last 10 games, Boilermakers 4-6, averaging 75.6 points, 29 rebounds. That's not a lot. 13.4 assists, 4.7 steals, 1 block per game, while shooting 47% from the field. So they're making shots, but their opponents average 76.2 points per game. So their defense is not that great, but their offense is rock solid. They will have, a lot of fans in the building for them. Cougs will lock in. Cougs be, treated as a road game. Well, they've had success on the road this year, so I don't see why they'll stop on Friday. Onward and upward. 2 down, 4 to go. Get number 3 on Friday.
Sweet 16, we got to challenge our Coug fans. Now, we know some of y'all got money you can afford to go ahead and travel. Go ahead and travel. Be at their game. Support the Houston. I mean, if it could be a 40, 60 crowd or whatever it could be, we need as many Houston fans that we can to support. But I like our chances. What is the threat Purdue offers? Their team, they want to play fast. I think Braden Smith, who plays a lot of pick and roll, he can get downhill, can create, can shoot the 3, but also they'll play in the half court. But they like Chris just said, alluded to, as far as when you're looking at some of the defensive totals, they're not a predominant defensive team, but they will share the ball. They will try to get some steals and get out in transition.
Andre Owens.
What about him?
Buckets. We need you at the game, man. The game is in Indianapolis, right?
Yep.
We need Andre Owens at the game. Please, 20, be at the game. All right? You know how to figure it out. I want to see you sitting close by the team at the game, throwing up the Cougar sign. All right? We need you, bro.
And let me, I'm going to kind of curious, Fluff, I'm curious as to your thoughts on this. JG pointed it out, kind of piggybacking on a lot of people are bringing it up. At this point of a season, if you have not practiced it a lot up to this point, are you going to implement half-court press just because you saw somebody else do it?
No.
So, yeah, folks,
Oh, you saying like
if
right.
you're,
I got it. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, so
I got
JG Boilermakers are about to feverishly practice the half-court press all week. No, they're not.
Nah.
They're not going to do that. Folks, you're overreacting to what you saw. You overreacted to 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You're overreacting. Okay? They're going to probably spend some time on it, but they're not going to do all, spend 50% of their practice on the half-court press. Because Coach Sampson and staff are going to work on how to beat that press. So it's not going to change who they are. Neither the Cougars are going to change who they are at this point of the season. This is recency bias, folks. Coach Sampson knows. He talked about the boneheaded mistakes. You heard it in the post game. But let's just relax, people. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I don't think they have the personnel. Like I don't know who Braden Smith is going to guard. He's too little to guard Milos. They might put him on Emmanuel, but Emmanuel can take him off the dribble. So I mean, I would like to see how they play. I don't think they're gonna reinvent themselves. They're gonna do what's got them to where they are in the Sweet 16, like Chris is saying. They might work on it a little bit, and if desperate situation comes, like Coach, like they did tonight, go to it. And so they're not gonna reinvent themselves. They might implement and work on it a little bit to see, like, hey, we might have to go to this if we need to. They struggle with this some. But it's not going to be something where we're full court pressing because they struggle with it. Nah, it's not going to be nothing like that.
What they are going to work on is how to attack Houston's monster traps. When Trey Coffin gets it down on the block, they're going to try to figure out how to do that. That'll be something they work on. But, both teams are going to really stick with what they do, try to do that well. Then if the opponents make them try to tweak a few things, then they're going to say, okay, if they do this is how we're going to counter that. But if they can't stop it, we're going to keep doing this stuff over and over again until they figure it out. That goes for Houston. And I like what Deion said. If Braden Smith guards Emmanuel, he's going to put on the floor and attack the basket. That's what he should do.
Which he did tonight, by the way.
Coach Sampson, he does those things. He found what they believe are advantages, and he attacked them. And let's wrap it up because Fluff is almost gone.
Me too.
Yeah,
I've been up since 7 a.m.
Just to let you guys know my loyalty to you guys. I played a game at 1 o'clock. I played a game at 1 o'clock in Connecticut. Then I drove to New York. We played 2 games out there at 5 o'clock and 6:45. Then I had a little talk with a couple coaches out there. Got something to eat, drove back, got the text. I'm here with you guys, fans. Yeah, my eyes got a little heavy, but I'm locked in. You know what I mean?
Man, I've been up since 7. Played a game at 10. Played
we win.
We won the first one, lost the second one. And
Okay.
then, so we here.
That's right. Go Cougs, man.
Go Cougs. And like I said, I'm the only one who's not a coach of the 4. So, but
you're OG. We talked about that.
Yeah. But it's all good, man. And salute to both y'all for adding and providing your context and your insight. It's appreciated. And salute to Andy for uploading the press conference. Because I don't believe, have we received a notice about it being available yet, Andy, in email?
No.
Okay, so we just happened to see it. I looked for it and saw that it was there, and Andy went and got it and provided it for the show.
Sir.
So try to do things differently here on Let's Rage Coogs. We appreciate everybody in the comments. A lot of folks.
We appreciate we appreciate everybody that took the time tonight to watch and comment just in general. Like we had a good viewing tonight. People joining us on X, a good amount of people joining us on YouTube as well. So appreciate each and every single person that took the time and joined us. If this was your first time ever, we'll be back on Friday night after Houston Purdue, regardless of outcome.
No, Andy, no.
Crabtree.
No.
Plus,
Andy,
that's just what I always gotta say. That's just
Andy, no, man. No.
Thank you, JG.
No.
Yeah, thank you, JG. This is it right here. After the UH win.
No, Andy. Yes, JG. After we win on Friday, Andy. Come on, baby. After we win on Friday, I'm up now. I'm up now.
There you go.
Hey, I got another 15 if you want, if y'all want it. You know what I mean? No big. But, you know what I'm saying? If no, man, when we win, Andy, when we win on Friday, we getting on here. That's it. That's what we
gotcha, Fluff. My bad. That's the old
The
reporter in me.
commentating in you, the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there we go. I'm glad I got you to wake up here.
Yeah, nah, real talk. I'm up
Um,
now. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Yes. When we went on Friday, Andy. Come on.
Gotcha. Well, let's take the time to thank again every single sponsor on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. This has been Rage Coogs presented by the Saxenian family. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian for being the primary sponsor of this edition of LRC. We also like to say thank you to other sponsors, beginning with BB's, the home of Texas Ordnance Cooking, who reminds you that it's crawfish season and they want you to stop by any one of their Houston area locations for their 5-pound mound. Visit them online at bbstexordnance.com. And also big thank you to Star Pizza. With 3 locations throughout the Houston area, Star Pizza is your go-to stop before or after the game. Check them out online at starpizza.net or on social media at Star Pizza HOU on X and Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram. And last but not least, a big thank you to the Pinto Leon Law Firm, the sponsor of today's comment section. The Pinto Leon Law Firm are the immigration law experts. Contact them at pintoleon.com or at 713-338-2879. Big thanks just all around. Chris, Fluff, I'll toss it over to y'all. Any final thoughts? And again, we'll be back on Friday after a win. There we go. After a win.
That's it.
On Friday night.
I was trying to see if I could find the times, if the time had been for Friday's matchup against Purdue has been posted. I don't see it yet. But thank you. Shout out to everyone for your questions, comments, participation in this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Much love to my brothers for their comments as well. Cougs won 81-76. Got Purdue on Friday. The Cougs will win that one as well. Join us after that game. Thank you, as always, for supporting Let's Rage Coogs. Thank you for supporting Paul Slamma Jamma, supporting the Houston Round Ball Review. And I wrap it up. Since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to be on Channel 2, Sports Sunday, tomorrow night to talk about the Cougs. So watch that as well. So I'm going to say it again one more time. Since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective. Fluff, your world, brother.
Okay. Listen, just want to say, like I said, I'm Andre Owens. We need you at the game on Friday. What time we play, Chris? Okay, whatever the time is, Andre Owens, we need you at the game with some red on, man. Saluting the Cougs. Much love. But much love to our Cougars. Much love to the coaching staff. Kelvin, Kellen, Courtney, Q, Hollis, Bilal, everybody on the staff, John Houston, for keeping our guys healthy. Hey, John, we gotta get Coach Sampson. He was on a press conference, something with his shoulder. We gotta get that together for him so he's ready for next game. Shouts to Elm City Elite. Great day for us today. Check us out. Trying to make the next young kings and queens that's in this NCAA tournament that we watching right now. We making them right here in New Haven, Connecticut. Go Cougs. Let's get another win. Advance to the Big 8.
Survive in advance, man. Appreciate everybody who tapped in tonight. We got really, really big numbers, and it's gonna be even bigger in these next 3 shows as we keep on surviving and we keep on advancing. And so I'm looking forward to this next win on Friday. Then we have 2 more to go before we have that triple crown, and they go down, and we in the town, and it's we natty bound. Can you dig it? You know what I'm talking about? And so,
Yes,
hey,
sir.
I can't end it without saying go Cougs.